The Galamsey or illegal mining has a significant impact on tourism, especially in areas where tourism, these activities takes place. And we look at it has so much diverse, as a negative impact. So we want to look at the environmental impact. How does Galamsey affect the environment in terms of tourism?
Well, thank you very much for this important question. If you look at tourism and the impact that illegal mining is likely to have on tourism and hospitality, is enormous. It's enormous in the sense that if you look at the level of Galamsey, that's the illegal mining that has been going on the past few years in Ghana, almost all the 16 regions are experiencing some level of illegal mining, which has to be kept. The impact on tourism and hospitality is enormous. It's enormous in the sense that we are going to have environmental impact. We are going to have impact on our health of people that work in those areas. We are going to have impact on domestic tourism. It's going to have impact on international tourism arrival. I'm sure we will delve into each of them. So the impact as we see it now, for me, if we don't deal with it now, and I mean now, if you don't deal with it now, in the next 3 to 5 years, there will not be tourism sector in this country, because tourists will not be visiting countries where they are not assured of their safety, they are not assured of the safety of the food, they are not assured of the safety of the water they drink. No tourist will want to visit such a place as a destination. So in 3 to 5 years, there will not be any business as far as tourism and hospitality is concerned, because tourists will not come, and even domestic tourists will not visit places.
So looking at even the landscapes of where people normally go visit, let's say the eastern region, the eastern part of the Ghana, and maybe the middle part of the Ghana, that's the brown and stuff. I think the Galamsey activity has so much impact on these tourist sites, because mostly it's about river valleys. We have the waterfall, Boti waterfalls, we have the other waterfalls as well. So will they have an impact on these things? Because people travel far to come and see these waterfalls and have that nature, like have that refreshing moment. So will it affect it?
Of course it will, because when tourists come, of course there are tourists who come specifically for specific destination or specific attractions, but most often tourists come looking at diversity of places that they can visit. So even if they come purposely for ecotourism, they might want to visit places before they finally go to the destination that they want to go. If they come to do bird watching, if we are destroying the environment, obviously the forest animals or birds, or what we call the big five, they will start moving from their natural environment to places, and some of them will also die if we are destroying fish. And there's ecosystem. All the insects, animals, they all depend on each other. So if one is extinct, obviously it will affect the other. And if people are coming in for bird watching, for ecotourism, for wildlife, for anything, they are not going to come, because when you come, the animals are not there. When you come, the birds are not there. If you want to come to places like Lake Bosomche, you want to go to places like, all the waterfalls that we have here.
Sorry for cutting you, I'm talking about, are there any specific tourist site that has been degraded by these Galamsey sites, like Offland, Kanoki? These are tourist sites we used to visit, but now, because of Galamsey activities, there's nothing like tourist site where people will troop in to come and see what the nice.
Well, at the moment, we haven't gotten to that. We haven't gotten to that, not because we don't have it or it's not happening. We haven't gotten to that because we don't have data, we don't have information about those things. We haven't done any survey research to find out which of the attraction sites are being affected, or how many tourists are even thinking of not coming to Ghana because of what is going on. Because we have people who are so passionate about environment, they will begin to identify Ghana as a country that does not pay attention to the environment, and they'll begin to broadcast it, and people will begin to identify Ghana as an unsafe place to go, and then they will stop coming here. So at the moment, we don't have that data,
Okay, sure.
but I'm sure there are places that might have been affected by the activities of these
people.
people.
Talking about environment, we all say water is life, and truly should be water is life.
Yes.
Yeah. And these Galamsey activities mostly affect our water bodies. And water, as we know, is life. It also serves as a tourist site for people to even troop in with the seas and our man-made lakes and the waterfalls. So the locals, what impact does Galamsey have? Even like we swimming and other stuff and fishing, does it really have an impact on it? Because people will travel just to taste our, let's say our mantas,
Right.
like our fish, our small
Yes.
fishes and stuff, and Galamsey is destroying them. So I just want to know, is it related to tourism when it comes to those stuff?
It does relate to tourism. And it's interesting. Tourism connects, is interlinked with almost every sector of every economy. So if you take medicine, if you take agric, if you take the pharmaceutical industry, if you take sports, any sector you take in any economy has some link with tourism. So the moment tourism is attacked, it affects almost every other aspect of our economy. So if you look at the 17 SDGs, almost everyone connects to tourism.
Okay.
So you see sometimes tourism is in the middle of it, connecting to every one of them. So if we destroy our water bodies, it has impact on the fishes in the sea. It has impact on the community, because the communities where they depend on the lakes, on the sea, on the rivers around them for fish, they depend on it for farming, for everything that they do in that community, they will lose it. And what happens? Of course, they will get sicknesses and diseases that we have never known in this country. And we're already seeing it. We have seen children that are born with some deformities that is connected to the activities of these illegal miners.
So talking about, we've seen or we've heard people talking about children born in these tourist sites having diseases or maybe having fashionable stuff. Don't you think it will scare investors away? Because probably if somebody is moving with their family to come and invest in Ghana, or maybe tourists want to visit this December, they'll be like, now our water bodies are being destroyed, and we hear stories like people are born with eyes, people are born with one leg, and people are born with so many other complications. So even if somebody wants to even come and give birth in Ghana and have a Ghana citizenship, I don't think it will even help people to even come to Ghana. So how does we solve that problem of making it economically viable for people to even travel in Ghana?
You see, the challenge is, as a country, we have not even sat down to look at the negative impact of the illegal mining activities that we are saying. So it's a matter of a few people trying to enrich themselves, and then the rest of us having to pay for it. And not just those who are living, those who are not even born, because the impact, we've heard some environmentalists giving us some data that probably the environmental degradation is going to take us about 50 years to reclaim the land back.
50 years.
50 years. And if you look at some of the trees that these illegal mining activities has caused to, they've cut the trees down, they've destroyed rivers. These trees have been there over 100 years. And you cut them just to mine, and you are going to even plant trees back. How long is it going to take? Not less than 100 years. And of course, these chemicals which are already in the soil, how are you going to get rid of them? How are you going to take them out and plant? So the issue is so enormous that we should not even think about it the next hour, that we have to stop it. We must stop it, and stop it now. There's no argument about it that is giving some people employment, is making people make money. No, that is, yes, you can be saying that, but that is not a solution.
But Mr. Bruno, we're talking about cutting down or stopping it. Are there any statistics on tourism that has shown that there has been a decline in these tourism areas? Because you are talking about cutting off employment and cutting livelihood. There should be a data to back whatever you are proposing. Do you understand? So, are there any stats on this tourism, like on this Galamsey, that shows that there is a decline of economic activities in these areas?
You see, we don't have any statistics yet, but we also didn't have the level of publicity that we are having now. So now tourists are beginning to hear. Investors are beginning to hear what is going on in Ghana.
That is to say, it's a perception out there. People will just hear whatever we are saying.
It's not a perception. What is going on is a reality. It's not a perception. There are videos. There are people who are involved. People have been arrested. If you go online, it's there. So when people begin to pay attention to what is happening in Ghana, and then the international media begin to pick it and highlight it, and of course we are also competing with other destinations in Africa and across the world, so they'll also pick it up and highlight it. So if we are all clamoring for the same tourist, then if you have a negative impact on your environment that can deter tourists from coming to your country, I'm going to use it against you to attract the same tourists to my destination. So these destinations will begin to also leverage on it and make sure that we lose the tourists to them. So we don't have the data yet, but it is there for us to see. We will begin to see the impact probably next year or so. I don't know, maybe it could even be this December in GH. Last year, the number that we were expecting, we didn't get that number. I'm not saying it's because of this Galamsey activities, but it's most likely that the level that is going, if we don't do anything about it, the international community will advise themselves from coming to Ghana.
We're talking about the economy of these cities or these areas where the tourism, the Galamsey menace is very rampant. What's the community response when it comes to these stuff? Are they willing to push back? Are they willing to tell them, hey, we don't want this, we want to stop, or what?
So some communities have risen up against the activities. Recently, we heard Otumfuo had dethroned 3 chiefs. Interestingly, in Sabronum, that is where I grew up. I schooled there. And I remember last year when I went to bury my dad, I stayed there for a few days and I saw the impact of Galamsey. I grew up as a child there, and all the rivers that we swam in, all the places that we used to play have become almost like a desert. And I kept asking the people, what has happened? They told me Galamsey. So I wasn't surprised when Otumfuo dethroned those 3 chiefs in a community where I grew up. So the impact is there for us to see. So these communities are affected. If you go to Sabronum now, where they used to have tomatoes, plantain, they used to have cocoyam and all those food stuff. Now when you go there, it's even expensive than when you come to Fauman, which is a town a little further away from Sabronum. So the impact on the people in the community is that you plant and you don't get any yield. And they are farmers. If you don't get any yield, what do you eat? What do you sell to get money to buy things? So the impact is there.
And these communities are responding positively to push the Galamsey away?
Yes, some are. But in some communities, because of the money that the young people also get from the Galamsey activities, they are also reluctant because it's about a survivor. If I stop today, what do I eat? How do I survive? And I watched a video just this morning before you came in where 2 young ladies who are involved in Galamsey are saying that they will not stop today, they will not stop tomorrow. Why? Because that is how they make their living.
So that means there's less education when it comes to these engagements, the community engagement?
Yes, there is. There's less education. We are not educating the community.
As to the impact on the Galamsey?
Yes, the negative impact, because you can make the money today. If you make millions of dollars or whatever today, and then your health, you don't have any healthy life, your children are dying, your community, everybody is dying, what is the essence of making that money? There's no sense in making money when you can't enjoy the money.
So in your opinion, what are some of the strategies, or let's say the ways that people or the government can use to just educate these people to those who are not reluctant or pushing back this in these communities? What are some of the ways the government can use, maybe some initiatives or something to promote the sustainable tourism in those areas?
Well, if I should paraphrase what Tunfo Seitu, the second, said recently, we cannot be silent now. Everybody must be involved in telling our communities, in telling our friends, our family members, our workers, whether they are involved or not. Let us educate ourselves that, look, what we are doing, we are killing ourselves. We are poisoning our waters, we are poisoning our food, we are poisoning everything that we eat. So let us stop now. Let's go to our villages. If you go to funeral in your village, get the young boys around, whether they are involved or not. Some of their friends might be involved. Tell them to stop now. If we begin to do that, and let me use this opportunity to call on all the trade associations in the tourism and hospitality industry, the car rentals, the event vendors, the Ghana Hotels Association, Ghana Progressive Hotels Association, the tour operators, the tour guides, all of them. Please let us get involved. Let us talk to people. Let us talk to our workers. Let us go to our villages and talk to them. Let us get involved to get this problem solved.
Talking about stopping, recently there has been a major advocate when it comes to Galamsey, stopping Galamsey. But do you think the government should regulate it or completely ban it? That is a conversation we need to have. Is it about regulation or we banning it like outright?
For now, what we need to do is to stop it.
So you are proposing for a halt?
Let's halt it for now. Everywhere, let's halt it. Illegal mining, let's halt it, especially those who are doing it in the waters and those who are doing it close to the waters. Let's halt it now. When we halt it, let's have conversation. Who are those who have licenses to mine? Where are they mining? How are they mining? Who is supervising them? We have to have that conversation and make sure that anybody that is not doing the right thing, the license is revoked.
But because when this government came into power, I think it was 7 years ago, he did the same thing, and we are now seeing like an impact now. We did the same thing, banned Galamsey, he tried to regulate everything was in order, but now we don't know what happened. So are you saying we should repeat the same strategy we did years back, which didn't work, now again?
I don't know where the government banned Galamsey in Ghana.
There was a total ban on Galamsey.
For me, right, is there are two different things. You can sit on TV, sit somewhere and say we banned it, and then people are in the
there was soldiers on the site, or the government procured so many drones to even monitor these Galamsey sites and all stuff.
Look, we heard it. We heard all these things.
So are you saying they are not true? That's what you're saying?
Wait a minute. We heard all these things, but we are also told, and we've heard journalists who have gone into the hinterland. They brought out videos. They brought out activities of people and these so-called security apparatus who are supposed to be even stopping them are protecting these evil illegal miners.
But that doesn't put the fact that the government did
Who sent them? No, you can camouflage everything. You can pretend that you are doing
what the government did previously.
If we believed it, if we should
the same thing, government should do it now.
No. What I'm suggesting is let's stop it. Let's be real about it. Not that we pretend we are stopping it when we've seen government officials who are also involved. We've seen opposition people who are involved. Pastors are involved. Almost everybody is involved.
But recently, the Association of Small Scale Miners, they made a press conference and said that they have license to operate. So are you saying you should ban those who also have legitimate license to even mine? Because that's their livelihood and they are contributing to the economy.
You see, for now, what I said is let's stop everything now.
Everything now.
Let's stop it and engage. Okay. Who has a license? Who doesn't? Those who have the license, where are they working? How are they working? Because I have listened to some journalists who have done documentary and are saying that some big men and big women who go for the license And then where they are licensed to operate, they are not operating there. They go to places and they give the license to a third party. And then they are doing the mining anywhere, anyhow. So we need to stop everything and then ask them, what does your license allow you to do? Or where does your license allow you to operate? Are you operating there? And what does your license say you should do when you are doing operation? Are you doing it? If you are not doing it, we stop you. Where have you been mining? We need to stop it and then re-engage. We are not saying we should stop mining. No, we can't stop mining altogether. We are talking about illegal mining. And those who have legal licenses are now also involved in illegal mining or have contracted people using their license to do illegal mining.
Okay. Talking about the trade unions of tourism, we call on them to just put their mouth in and also put their energies in to just clear this menace. Recently, the trade union stated that members of this trade union shouldn't go to work as a form of agitation for this Galamsey. Do you think it's a calling down in the right direction?
Of course, it is, because
you support that.
I do support it.
You go to work.
I do support it because they have given the government opportunity to engage and to do something about it, and nothing has been done. What is the alternative? They can't go and stop them themselves. But if my life is at risk, my children's life are at risk, my family is at risk, if my livelihood is at risk, and my family members in the village are going to suffer in the next 10, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years because of my action or inaction, why should I go to work? I shouldn't.
When it comes to this Galamsey or illegal mining conversation, mostly we attribute to the Chinese people coming in. So my view is, if you are to stop these Galamsey, why don't you stop the Chinese from even entering the country, maybe going to these areas to work? Is that not possible too?
How do the Chinese get to those forests that we don't even know? So it's us. If we, the Chinese hasn't done anything. He is looking for opportunity. You see, human nature, we are all selfish beings, right? So the Chinese is looking for opportunity, and he has come. And we cannot think, or we have refused to think, and we take these Chinese to our forest to go and mine, to go and destroy our water bodies, when they cannot do that in their own country. Who in Ghana can go without even papers to work in China, to do legal job? You can't. Why do they come here? How did they come? When they came, what did they say they were coming to do? On what visa did they come here with? How did they get here? How did they get into that forest that we don't even know? What do they use to mine, to do this illegal mining? They are using machines. How did the machine get into the forest? Are there not people in the community who saw those machines getting into the forest? How did they get there?
We are talking about even the effects and the impact on it. So what do you think in our own small way, the tourism people, we call on the traders, what can you do apart from we advocating, we talking, what are some of the activities we can do just to promote ourselves and tell them that, okay, maybe Galamsey is happening in Ghana, but these tourist sites, these tourism stuff, we are up there with these tourism stuff. What are the trade unions or the trade unions in tourism have to do?
You see, there's no point for us to promote tourism if this is going on, because you promote it and other people will use it against you. And if I'm a sensible tourist and I see this online, I won't come, because I'm not sure of my safety in terms of what I'll eat, what I'll drink.
So that is a visitor perception.
Okay, great. So, but in this case, it's not a perception, it's a reality, right? So, what do we have to do as stakeholders in the tourism and hospitality industry? We also need to speak out. I'm not talking about politics. I'm not interested in any politics, right? So I'm a Ghanaian. I have to think as a Ghanaian. I'm African. I have to think as an African. Anything that is destroying my country, my continent, I have to talk about it. So we have to talk about it. President of all these various associations must begin to speak about 25 or so trade associations. If all of us are speaking, if all of us are saying, look, let's stop it. And this one is not about NPP, it's not about NDC, they are all involved. But NPP is in power. We have given our right to them to manage the country for us so that we feel secure. And if they are not doing it, they are in power, we tell them. If it is NPP, NDC in power, we tell them. So we have to tell them. If they don't do anything about it, then we begin to look at what are the options available for us to make sure they stop.
We want to know the general effect on Galamsey, on the tourism sector. Like, I think you can list it so that those people outside know the impact, the effect, how I don't know how to use it, like the word to use, but of these menace on tourism.
The general effect on tourism is so huge. So let's take the waterfalls. You know, we get most waterfalls get their sources from different places, right? So if the source is polluted, obviously it will come down to the waterfall, and we expect to see water as colorless.
Exactly.
Then it's not raining, but you go and see the water brown. Then you are wondering. Then as a tourist, you hear some people are doing illegal mining there. They are using chemicals. You won't go into that waterfall. You won't go close because you don't know what will happen if some gets into your mind or your body. So that is one. The other thing is, of course, the marine water bodies, right? If fishes are dying, if you fish, you don't get anything. Food, gastronomy, you not get good food. The animals are dead. Of course, our yam, plantain, all these things, we won't have them.
And this will have a major impact on the catering too as well.
Yes, because there's no food for you. Have to import. How much are you going to import? And then how much food will be expensive? Of course, water. Now, the Ghana Water Company has told us that they cannot actually treat our water. They are spending so much in treating so little water for us. So very soon we will start importing good water. Where are we going to import it from? I don't know. So it will have impact on our water bodies, and then it will have impact on our forest reserves because that's where they are mining.
Recently, I just heard somebody has acquired a license to mine at Kakum. How?
Well, you see, in this country, it's interesting. I heard it somewhere last year, early this year. In fact, I've been to Kakum for the past few months, and when you ask them, they will tell you, oh, it's not really Kakum, it is a forest behind Kakum. But when you talk to them secretly, one-on-one, they will tell you, yes, they have the license.
But we didn't hear a call from the trade unions of tourism advocating or...
No, you see, the problem is, in this country, nobody wants to tell the truth. This country is very interesting.
But that is directly going to affect the livelihood of these people in the tourism industry.
Yes, people know people have been given license to mine around these areas that they know is not right. They've given the license, but they won't come out to say that, oh, it's true or no, it's true. So it becomes difficult for you to say it's true. Where is your evidence?
So then I think the tourism association doesn't have a strong voice, because if you have a strong voice, you definitely, those are business people, so definitely they are thinking about the money, but you are also thinking about your livelihood and how good nature is. So I think they should have a strong voice.
We should have a strong voice. Unfortunately, the federation that is supposed to have that strong voice is weak, has been made weak. Ghana Tourism Federation, unfortunately, it's been made weak by the system, and the associations, individual associations that come together to also form the federation. It's also, most of them are thinking of their personal interests as individuals, not even the interests of their trade members or their association members. So we are not one. We are not one. We should be having some engagement as far as this menace is concerned as a federation, as a stakeholder. We should even be having a meeting to look at, hey, how do we look at what is going on and how do we engage the government to look at what can we do? What can we help the government to solve if indeed the government is trying to stop it? How can we help government to stop it, since this will have a negative impact on our business and on the economy? But we haven't had that engagement. And if you raise it, you are labeled and attacked.
So the trade unions of tourism too are failing on their part.
Well, they haven't said anything. I don't know if they are failing on their part or they are doing anything. I don't know.
But if they are not saying anything,
they may be doing something behind the scenes that we don't know, haven't heard.
Oh, okay.
But until we hear them.
And it will also have an effect on this local tourism, because when people try to get a visitor perception, they will go to these areas. What do you think?
Yesterday, I was listening to Honorable Kofi Juma, and he was talking about he visited some place, and the people were doing the Galamsey by the roadside. And it's not just him, the other people who have talked about it, they are doing the Galamsey on the roadside. And who wants to drive on that road? When you know they have digged so much that the road is not safe, you won't drive there, you won't go there. So what is happening is terrible. It's so terrible. And it's surprising that our leaders, and I'm not talking about political leaders, community leaders, chiefs are involved. Chiefs are involved, and we heard it from no mean person than Otunfo Osei-Tutu II, that when he met some of his chiefs, he was telling them that some of you are involved. We know chiefs who are taking money and allowing people to mine in their communities illegally. They come and build houses in Accra here thinking that, if it becomes worse in the village, they will live here. The people will come and attack you here because you've destroyed their livelihood.
So you're talking about the hotelier, the car rentals, the tour operators, the caterers, everybody in the tourism industry should speak up and man up to challenge these menace. This is destroying us. Because December is almost approaching, and we need the numbers to really make more money, right? Yeah, the tourism sector needs more. So I think the trade association will just attend to your call and maybe they will take action.
I hope so.
Thank you very much for
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.